Fourth race weekend of the BMW IBSF Bobsleigh and Skeleton World Cup. We're in Germany's Hochsauerland at Winterberg, the track that was first opened in 1972 and continues to be one of the mainstays of the German sliding world. Hello everybody, welcome to our coverage of the action from the women's skeleton competition just about to get underway. 21 sleds in the field as we welcome back a host of Europeans that we didn't see in North America. One North American that we did see and in action this morning joins me in the booth, Austin Florian of the USA. This track is a beginner's track, but there are so many places you can give speed away here.
Yeah, it's a track that's easy to get down, but hard to go fast. So it's one of those really tricky tracks. You're going into corner zero, which is kind of a knot corner they added later on in the construction of this track. Really hard to get straight and keep the sled going straight into corner one, going into corner two, where you're going uphill, and you're super critical, one of the most critical points in the entire track, where you're then going to just flat couple of complexes of corners. If you didn't nail those, you are already behind the ball. You get into corner five right here is the first time you kind of drop a little bit, which is a big setup corner for six, setting you up into Kreisel. Big braking corner, big long braking corner. If you don't set up well into this, you can get a runner drop off of here, which sets you up poorly to get into corner 9 right here, which is where you really start to pick up speed going into the not corner 10. Into 11, you're really starting to move down here. Today we'll be probably going about 125 kilometers an hour. Top speed right into corner 14, and look for the waves. If you see it, you could possibly victory roll. Doesn't look like we have the speed for it today, but should be a good race.
Well, we had one in the men's race rolling out of the Felix Kaisinger rolling out of the final corner, but yeah, it didn't end in victory, just ended in a nice wet run up the ice. Tina Hermann of Germany is our World Cup points leader, ahead of the Olympic champion Hannah Neisser. Mimi Reneva, who had a good run of form in North America, lying in third place ahead of Suzanne Kreher. 3 races this year, 3 different winners. Neisser won the season opener, the newly crowned Olympic champion taking her first ever World Cup win in Whistler, and then Mimi Reneva won in Park City. Tina Hermann finally got gold last time out in Lake Placid, but last time here, that lady in orange, Kimberly Boss, last year we raced here in December 21 and then January 22. Kimberly Boss won both of those races. So this track is where she has claimed her 2 career gold medal World Cup wins. But, well, Suzanne Kreher and Hannah Neisser and particularly Tina Hermann are on home ice here and have got an awful lot going for them. So you would expect, particularly in the women's race, you would expect the Germans to be the real favourites here. Absolutely,
the Germans are by far the favorites here, but this women's field is pretty evenly matched up at the top, and anything can happen. This is also Kim Boss's basically home track, as it's very close to the Netherlands, and there's a lot of girls that can win this race, so it still will be very interesting. Even though the Germans are favorited, it should still be good no matter what.
And we have 2 brand new rookies, as well as a whole bunch rejoining the field. Getting the action underway, the first European race of the season. Li Yuqi of China, the 24-year-old junior world championship competitor on this track 2 years ago. She raced here in Europa Cup in November and took 2 wins, so she's got good recent knowledge of the track, but very high in the zero curve.
Yeah, not a very good exit of zero. Getting a little bit sideways and a little too late into one. We're just gonna give her a tough entry into corner 2, but seems to handle the end well, and we'll see how she can hold speed all the way down. Going bib 1 today is going to be a big advantage, as the ice will deteriorate as you go through the run.
Uphill through 4 and then building speed through corner 5 and 6 into the big Kreisel. 270 degrees, you come out underneath where you went in.
A little bit of waving through there, a little bit too early in, but she handles it all right. She's going to be obviously, she's going to come down in first place after this run, but she will probably drop back a few spots. Not the cleanest looking of runs, but all in all, it's a solid run.
Yeah, big height in 11. We've seen a lot of sleds on there. Huge skid, and that's a really critical part of the track. There's only 1 corner left, but it is all uphill.
Quite uphill.
Yeah, and if you think about coming down a hill on your bike with an uphill grade facing you, the last thing you do is pull the brakes on, right?
Yeah, skidding there is one of the last places you want to do. Doesn't matter if you had a great run leading up to it, you're going to throw away a few tenths right there.
Yeah. So 59.15 seconds. It was wet and slow in training. It is wet today as well, and the men's race was not fast, but big smile from Li Yuqi of China. Well, 5:46 start. The track record is a 5:07.
We'll see some faster starters here today. Look to see a few fast start from Valentina, her first World Cup of the season, as well as Jane Channel. Get some pretty fast pushes. So we'll see what the groove has in it today.
Yeah, pretty good, big skids for Li Yuqi. Next up, a World Cup debutante, Tabby Stocker from Islington in London, and the first skeleton athlete to come from circus arts. She was a trapeze flyer. Junior World Championship silver this year. She's had Europa Cup medals this season as well. Second year of sliding. She's here in the World Cup because she is building up knowledge of this track to race in the Junior Worlds here next week. 22 years old, makes a World Cup debut at a 5:30 start.
Somewhat quick push, still a very early load. Oh, and a big skid into corner one. It's going to cost her a lot.
Well, she has raced here once in her career before, and that's why she's here again, because the Junior Worlds will be a big deal next week.
Yeah, and getting experience on the track before Junior Worlds is definitely a big advantage, and should have fun next week at Junior Worlds. It's a fun event. I did one and had a great time, but it's a great track for Junior Worlds, and especially first experience with it.
600's up, better speed than Li Yuqi as she comes into the Kreisel. Too many skids.
Nice line through lot 9, but looks like there's a little bit more damage done up top, and you're going to see that reflect in the time. But overall, pretty solid second half of the track, and she's going to come down with a pretty decent time. Pretty close to Lee, but we'll see how it stacks up later on.
Well, Li Yuqi with 4 World Cups more under her belt than Tabby Stocker did to start this. How new are these two British athletes? We'll see her teammate Freya later on in the run. They've never had to sew up a race bib before, so Marcus White was showing them how to do that, because in the lower tiers you don't have a number bib. She's a real little ray of sunshine. She was saying to us yesterday when she came in for a headshot, today is the anniversary of the passing of her father, who she lost when she was very young, so a very special day for her.
Yeah, and it's always a fun first World Cup to have. No matter what, going off early, having a World Cup, it's a great experience, and looks like she's having fun with it.
Yeah, no pressure. A couple of early skids, though, taking that start speed out of the sled. Well, look forward to seeing her when she is back in World Cup action. May not be entirely that soon, but Valentina Margallo, we missed in North America, 8th and 6th in the 2 races here last year. And this is her 25th World Cup start, yelled off by Coach Billy Schneider.
Pretty good looking push there. We'll see what she puts down. 5:24. I know she's pushed faster than that here, so route isn't quite the fastest, but overall, pretty good.
Yeah, start area was definitely not quick in the men's race. Doesn't look like it's going to be quick today for the women either.
Pretty decent looking top. A little bit of a rough 0 to 1, but it's she's holding it together and keeping the sled moving forward, which is the important part.
And Valentina, the first of our medal-winning sliders in the field today, so that shows the distance between her and the other 2 who have just come down.
Not a great Kreisel, a little bit of wavy, but she handled it well at the end, and she's just letting the sled go, which is definitely helping her. She's stopped pulling away, so...
Only 3rd best speed. In fact, her lead has halved from nearly 4 tenths down to 2 tenths of a second.
Yeah, and I think you can take that all the way back to Kreisel, but top half of her track was pretty solid. She cleans up that middle, she'll be moving up quite a bit more. Willie was not happy with that one.
No, and she won't be either. The Italians were racing before Christmas. They raced in Europe Cup, so they've had races here, Lillehammer, Innsbruck. But Valentina will be disappointed with that. Yeah, there you go. That's not the radiant smile we often see from her.
Still a 2-run race, though. There was plenty of sleds that moved up a lot second run for our race.
Yeah, including one sitting right next to me. So, yeah, the thing with this track is it's so easy to give away time, isn't it?
Absolutely. Like I said, it's one of the harder tracks in the world to go fast on. It is not hard to go down clean. It is hard to go down fast, and you'll even see some experienced sliders on this track struggle with it.
Next up for Canada, Mimi Reniva, the 34-year-old, her 43rd World Cup start. 4 gold, 3 silver and 5 bronze medals, including victory in Park City, Utah at the beginning of December. Second place on this track is her best result. That was back in the 1920 season.
Handles corner ZO great. Gets a little bit unsettled off the end, but she settles the sled back down and keeps it moving forward.
She's got the best speed out of the 50-meter bracket, even though she only had the third fastest start, which is unusual for Mimi.
She hasn't been pushing the fastest this year, but she has been driving great, and we'll see her start to pull back time, if not be ahead, maybe at this next split.
Well, she's had a silver and a bronze on this track in her career. Let's see if she can add to that tally today.
Very solid drive so far. You're going to see Mimi move up quite a bit in the next couple of splits.
Decent speed, half a mile an hour quicker than Valentina Margalio.
Great bottom of the track, just going to bring her home. Just going to keep moving up even more.
77.9 miles an hour at the bottom, 125 kilometers an hour. And 58.60, there's the coach, Joe Cicchini.
Yeah, Joe is pretty happy with that, and I know Mimi will be too. Always happy about runs, no matter what. She's just a happy person to be around, but, you know, she's going to be happy with that, and we'll see how it holds up. With drawing bib 4 for her is going to be an advantage with the ice potentially going away, but we'll see.
Yeah, a nice fresh spritz before the start of the run. It certainly doesn't hurt.
Nice zero, a little bit unsettled, but she sorted it out really quick, and that's where all that experience of sliding as long as she has comes back in. A little bit of toe. She didn't like that. She didn't like the exit of corner 11, but it was suited her nicely. It almost pulled her out too soon and put her late into 12th, but yeah, she should be happy with that run overall.
So Mimi Reniva leads 4 of 21 sleds down, 17 to go in the first of our 2 heats. The 5th starter is the Czech Republic's Anna Fernstedt. Her 41st World Cup in total, her 28th as a Czech slider. She slid for Germany before. And her previous best here, 8th place. So this should be a track that suits a German-trained slider well.
Yeah, Anna knows how to slide this track very well. I know it's not her favorite track, but she still does pretty well here. And just take a lot of that German experience and knowledge to this track today.
Well, she is a classic German female skeleton slider, not the fastest starter, but she makes up for it the way she uses the ice.
Yeah, she knows how to drive a sled pretty well. Not a great entrance into 6. Let's see. Speed's all right still.
Not too wavy in the Kreisel.
Yeah, you want to really see that flat line through Kreisel based on the entry, not from driving too hard, but you'll definitely see Tina and the rest of the Germans driving like that.
Okay.
Great bottom of the track, though.
Nice looking lines, but look at the speed going away. 4th fastest sled, she's nearly 7 tenths behind at the bottom. 59.33. That is not a top draw Anna Fernstedt run. Now, whether she guessed incorrectly on runner choice or runner setup for the weather today, always hard to tell until you get 2 heats in, but she will know.
Potentially not. There was a couple small mistakes in key areas that cost quite a bit, but she will sort those out for second run, and I know she has the potential to move up quite a bunch of spots next run, so keep an eye on a second run.
Well, historically at this track, there are very small margins between all the sliders, and so, yeah, the chance to pick a few up or give a lot away.
Absolutely. It's
always
there.
It's
we saw the leader of the men's race drop down to 13th.
13th, yeah.
Anything can happen.
Okay, 5 sleds down, 16 to go here in Winterberg. At the line, race 4 of the BMW IBSF Women's Skeleton World Cup for Brazil, Nicole Silveira. Last season, she only raced for the first time in World Cup on this track. Had a 16th place finish and an 18th place finish. So let's see if she can slice some off that today.
Yeah, Nicole's been sliding pretty well this year. Should be pretty happy with it. We'll see how she can handle Winterberg. That's an unlucky tap on the expansion driver there. Puts her late into 1. Really puts her behind the 8 ball going into 2. We'll see how she handles it. Clean out, but it's still a rough thing to come back from. But looks like she's sorting it all pretty well out down here.
So she gave away 2600s at the start to Valentina Margallo. And that gap is now out to 3300s behind Mimi Reneva. So she only started a 10th slower than Mimi. And again, a big skid. But the speed is still there.
She's holding speed, so you can go fast on this track with not the ideal line, but if you just let the sled go and be chill, sled still will go fast and you'll still get some good speed.
124.3, 77.2 miles an hour. Boom on the wall.
Almost a victory roll there.
Yeah. 59.20. We shouldn't really be wanting to see athletes rolling over at 75 miles an hour out of the final corner, but it's always a bit of drama.
Thankfully, the ice is a little bit slower. You don't really see victory rolls at this speed of ice. When a track gets faster, that's generally when you see them. But
Alfie Williamson with the sled, the coach. Yeah. Again, just skidding a lot.
yeah, see that
early
skid
on.
and tap before. That dropout's not really too bad. As long as you keep it going, you don't hit before. Almost the roll there.
Yeah.
Yeah, overall pretty solid. She let the sled go and got plenty of room to move up. It's going to be the theme of today.
Yes, it is.
You never know.
6 down, 15 to go. Next up then is the youngest athlete in the field, 18-year-old Hallie Clark from the USA. Silver medal in the 3 races, one of the 3 races in North America to start the season. Has not raced here before. It's only her 4th ever World Cup.
Yeah, Hallie just saw this track for the first time this week, so we'll see how she can handle it. Great handle of corner 0. A little abrupt on the entrance, but handled it perfectly.
And best speed of all, and the lead over Mimi Reneva.
Not the fastest start, but had the best speed, which is something to say about how she handled 0. Great top of the track.
Okay, maybe she should go to tracks that she's never seen more frequently. Well, she is going to when now she's here in Europe.
Little early into 6, that's going to be rough as it's a flat section of the track. She's waving a bit, but she's letting it go.
Often when athletes don't know where they're going, you see the head is up, the shoulders are up, they're kind of a little bit, they've got the fear here. She just seems to be going, okay, I'll just let it fly.
Yeah, when you're young, sometimes it helps to just not know and you just kind of say whatever and go.
Yeah. Okay, well, the speed went away out of corner 6 down through the Chrysler and below. She went from tied for the lead to 6/10 back, but that is still 4th place out of the 7 sleds that have come down. That may yet end up being I was going to say a top 10 run, maybe a top 15 run, I would think.
You never know. That could be top 10 after the first run. I think she should be pretty happy with the top half of her track, and a couple little things she'll sort out, and she'll really be moving second run.
Well, 100th behind Nicole Silveira. There was the skid on the back of the sled going into 5. That's one of the first big acceleration points. You drop 3 stories through corner 5, and the exit high on the wall. Didn't panic. And again, let's take a look at the reaction in 11. Look, she's inverted there. Just trust the process. Yeah, she looked pretty happy with the line most of the way down. So 6 training runs and go race.
Yeah.
Welcome.
Get her set up for Junior Worlds next week.
The School of Hard Knocks. Okay, with 44 more World Cup stars under her belt, Kendall Wessenberg. We have all 3 US athletes in a row here. So 32-year-old has had 7 previous World Cup starts on this track, best of 10th place back in January 2017.
Yeah, Kendall knows how to drive a sled pretty well. She's had some good drives. She's definitely had some issues this season, but she's getting her head square on her shoulders, and she is starting to slide pretty well. And I know she can put down some good runs on this Winterberg track.
It's that sporting frustration, isn't it? She knows she's got the potential. She knows she can do it, but sometimes you get that block and it just doesn't happen. And surviving that is one of the hardest jobs.
Absolutely, that's the name of the game. She's got second best speed with not having it up top, but she's keeping it back up and stop the bleeding, and we'll see what she can do at the bottom of the track.
All right, 8th fastest start out of 8 sliders. Now she could drive herself into a top half dozen run here. Sixth best speed. She's not going to pick off Anna Fernstedt. No, she is behind Anna. So 59.57. There are two things in sport that are really tough to deal with. One is when you're in the purple patch where nothing goes wrong, and the other one is when you're in that trough where nothing seems to go right. And I think equally how you handle them kind of defines your career.
I mean, I wouldn't say nothing's going right. She's got a lot going well. It's just kind of some of the little things that just aren't quite working right now. But Kendall's a great slider, and she does know how to do it, and it's just needs one of those days and needs a good run. Yeah. And she can do it here. She can do it here. She can do it in Altenburg.
Something that just breaks the block and gets the timing back, you know, and that's the key, isn't it? Where, yeah, you know what you're doing, it's just the timing is a little off. So the third of our US sliders then is Kelly Curtis. 13th World Cup start for her. She was here last season, 10th place in December, 13th place in the January race. And her first ever World Cup medal on home ice in Lake Placid just before Christmas.
Solid push from Kelly and a great handle in the corners here. She's been struggling with 1 to 2 this week, so we'll see how she does it. Solid entrance into 2. We'll see if she can get all the way around. And awesome, great exit, and that should keep carrying her velocity all the way down.
Great view trackside from the fans.
Doing well, a little early into Kreisel, but handles it well. Chilling out, letting the sled go.
Buried her head, you could hear the helmet scraping the ice.
Oh, that's Kelly.
Yeah.
Put her head down and go.
4th place on the splits, 4th best speed. This is a really nice looking run from Kelly Curtis.
Yeah, Kelly's doing pretty well. She's sitting close, maybe second.
Top 3 speed, top 3 run. How close will she be? 3rd place by 0.03 of a second behind Valentina Margalio. That's a really good run.
Yeah, she'll be happy with that, and it'll be set her up in a great position for second run, so we'll see what she can do. Kelly is a second run performer, so we'll see.
Yeah, and that medal in Lake Placid, you know, that's one of those big days, isn't it, when you get your first senior medal and boom, suddenly, okay, I know I can do this.
Absolutely. She's feeling good this year, and she's sliding well, and happy to see it.
Again, you can see, look at the helmet just bouncing off the ice there. The G-forces, maybe not quite as extreme as somewhere like Thunderbird in Whistler, but there's plenty to keep your head bouncing up and down. Now, for the German fans, this has got to be their hot favourite. Jacqueline Lerling is the hometown queen here, literally in Winterberg, but she did not make their World Cup squad. So Tina Hermann, who has been a winner on the track, she's had 2 gold medals, 3 silver medals. She might even have had a bronze medal in her career as well. Let's see if she can put the cat among the pigeons. Again, not the fastest starter.
No, she knows how to make speed down the track, especially this track. A little rough, ooh, not the best handling of 0 to 1. If there's anyone that knows how to handle it, that is Tina.
The last race here in January was her worst ever on this track. She finished in 7th place.
Tina's sliding well. She had probably not great for Tina first start of the season, but she won in Lake Placid, and she's definitely going to be looking to win here. Yeah. Going into Kreisel with the best speed so far.
She was jubilant in Lake Placid. All the pieces fell into position together. Now she's starting to bring the gap down, but we're late in the run. There's not an awful lot of meters of ice left.
You'll still see her pull back a bit on that lead, but maybe not get all of it. She'll definitely be within single digits.
Oh, skid into the final corner. Otherwise, I was going to say she'll go in behind and come out in front, and bar that skid, she probably would have.
Yeah, overall solid run for Tina. It's going to leave her at a good spot, and again, it's Winterberg. You never know. You still have to put down 2 runs. Could be Tina, could be Mimi, could be Valentina. Yep. You never know.
World Cup points leader at the Christmas break. Hence the yellow vest. Her 68th World Cup start today. And boy, she must have done, yeah, hundreds of runs down this track in all sorts of weather. But look, even so,
thousands, honestly.
yeah,
probably.
she still has to work out of that spur to get the zero.
Yeah, a little bit of late into zero and catches that expansion joint right there. Really flicks you over into a. But she handled it very well, and she cleans it up second run. Mimi's going to have her hands full.
So Mimi Reniva, Tina Hermann separated by 11 hundredths. Next up is the Olympic champion Hannah Neisser for Germany, just 22 years old, in only her 18th World Cup start. So 2022 Olympic champion, 2021 Junior World champion. She was third in the Junior Worlds here in 2020 as well, and has raced 3 World Cup here since. So she's a German, she knows the track well.
And she'll be competing here next week in Junior Worlds again.
Yes. See, now that's something for the other kids in the Junior Worlds, when the Olympic champion rocks up on the block and is in the Junior Worlds with these other 18 and 19 and 20-year-olds.
Yeah, absolutely. And if there's one and she knows how to drive this track, so she will be the person to beat next week.
Definitely. 1600s behind, 1700s behind, and again...
Little skid into Kreisel, nose away, gets a lot of height.
Big height.
How much speed she loses coming out of here. A little bit, so she won't quite pull back as much on her on Mimi as she probably would have liked.
And how far behind at this stage was Tina Hermann? As Tina was within an ace. Okay, now she stopped the rot, but not enough speed at the bottom. She'll be third at the line behind Reniva and Hermann.
It's 1100 behind Tina.
And don't forget that our 3 Olympic podium finishers from Beijing were tied to the 100th of a second in the first heat of the men's race, 600ths off the lead. And one of them came through, Christopher Groothair, to claim victory. So leading the first heat is one thing. It just means that the race is then yours to give away.
Yeah, every race is 2 runs, and even though she made this mistake here, I'm sure she knows how to handle it as best she can, but I can guarantee you she will not make that mistake again second run.
That's the highest entry and first pressure into Kreisel we've seen so far. We've seen a lot of skids from 6 into 7. Hannah Neisser, the Olympic champion, in the mix. Third place after our first 11 sleds. 10 still to go in the first of our 2 heats in Winterberg. The woman who perhaps is the benchmark on this track last season, Kimberly Boss, no perhaps about it. She won both races here last year. Let's see what the 29-year-old Dutch woman has got, the Olympic bronze medalist. What a season last year was for her. And as you can hear in the Dutch Alps, lots of vocal support.
Loud start ramp, good push for her, and the best velocity. She definitely taking her home field advantage with her. Got a bunch of family and friends, about 30 of them up here cheering for her. So if you're
Dutch or Belgian, you are. This is the closest track to the Low Countries, and so there's always a lot of support here. Nice looking slide. She retains her lead over Mimi Reniva, but only 5th best speed into the Kreisel.
She's got Mimi by almost 1/10 of the push, and Mimi's pulling back on her. Mimi kind of had a little bit better middle of the track, but Kim is still solid. Mimi's run was just that good. So
okay, third best speed. This could be very tight at the line. 400s, the nature of this track, like Park City, is that we get very close races. How close at the line? 800s back in second place.
Yeah, our top 3 are within 1100ths of each other. So this is setting up to be a great race for second run.
And we're only halfway through the field.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, of course, the deal with 21 sleds as well is that only the fast 20 go through. There's Mike Rogels, who was commentating on the men's race earlier. Coaching. And he'll be here next week as well, helping the young Dutch sliders in the Junior Worlds.
Second place currently, and the next.
Pretty solid handling of 1-2. She didn't like that entry at all. You can tell with the body language, but she handled it. And there's a couple issues she sorted out, but we'll see what she can do for second run.
Excuse me as I dive quietly in the corner. Kimberly Boss with Mimi Reniva and Tina Hermann, the top 3. What about Suzanne Crair? What can this youngster do? Suzanne, in only her 6th World Cup start, she already has 1 silver medal from Lake Placid. Has not competed here in World Cup, but was a Junior World Championship silver medalist in 2020. And of course, again, being German, she's been down this track hundreds of times.
Solid start time, great handling of 0, but a little bit of skid nose away into 1 is going to cost her. Right into that uphill section is the last place you want to skid, especially at the top of the track. But if there's anyone that knows how to handle it, it is a German slider on their home track.
Down from 4 into 5. 400s behind at the last split. Gaps out to a 10th. Oh, and where's the speed gone?
Probably all on that that top of the track doesn't look like much, but it really can cost quite a bit. It's pulling it back a little better speed.
But from the 5th best start, 8th on the splits at the moment out of 12 sleds, or out of 13 now. So this is not going to be a top 10 run, only the 12th best speed. Where will she be? Around Anna Fernstedt. She is just ahead of Tabitha Stocker from Great Britain, the rookie, by 0.05 of a second. So again, that puts into perspective, that will be a disappointing run for Kreia. Somebody who's only been here once before in her life is only 500s behind a German slider on a German track.
Yeah, she'll probably want to throw that run away. Yeah. One of those runs that should have stayed in training, but there was a lot of good from that run, just a couple tiny mistakes up top that really cost you a lot.
Yeah, we talked about it in the first heat. They should have had an off-ramp here at about turn 4 so that you can just go, okay, forget it, I'm done.
Yeah, there's a couple of tracks we wish we had that.
Yeah, quite a few. The slow corners are the tough corners. Jane Channel for Canada. Milestone 60th World Cup start for Jane. 7 previous World Cups have been here. Her first in December 2015 was her best. She was a bronze medalist on her Winterberg debut.
Going to see a big push here from Jane. Going to be closing in on Valentina. Push speed. Jane, one of the fastest pushers in the women's field. Also pretty good driver as well. 5:30.
Yep.
Second fastest push, just a few behind Valentina, but handles 0 far better than Valentina did. Valentina just had a little skid, but Jane's keeping the sled moving forward and handling the top of the track very well, which is just one part of the huge puzzle that is Winterberg.
Well, right now we have a Canadian leader. We could possibly end up with a Canadian 1-2 after this run. She's 700s ahead still of Mimi. Oh, but the speed's gone away again.
Yeah, it's that exit of 6. She tapped on the left before Kreisel, and that just eats speed. It is flat right there.
Last Canadian to win here, Elizabeth Arche back in 2016-17. Hey, Liz. And here she is at home with her brand new baby. Rocking and rolling. Top 6 at the line. No, a little further back perhaps. Yeah, behind Kelly Curtis, 7th place for Jane Channel.
Yeah, it's just that one mistake for Jane up there in 5.6. It got her set up not great into Kreisel. She sorts that out, though. She's going to be right in the mix, and she's not too far off right now anyway.
Yeah. 500s behind Kelly Curtis, 800s behind Valentina Margalio. So it's not all about the start. Now, the question is, despite these big starts, it's the mistakes that is costing the time, isn't it?
Yeah,
not
especially through this this 5.6 Kreisel transition. Again, flat into a very big corner can cost quite a bit of time, and you're going to see a lot of the athletes that really accelerate are going to do that, handle that well, and Jane is going to fix that for second run. She's going to sort that out.
Yep. So next up for France, Agathe Bessard, 23 years of age, so just outside Junior World Championship bracket. 17th World Cup start for her. She raced here in January 21 and then in December 21.
Handles corner 0 pretty well, a little bit early. Has to fight it in the straightaway, which is not what you want to do, but overall keeps the sled going forwards and moving straight into corner 2.
She doesn't have big power off the starting block, so she must keep that alive early on, and that's the key to everybody's run, but especially when you don't have a good start.
Yeah, and Agathe looks like she's putting together a pretty solid run here. Speed's down a hair, but she can pull back in the bottom of the track.
And again, 21 athletes will start this heat. Only 20 will start the second heat. So the first job when you're in the 15 and below group is to make sure you make the second run.
Yeah, it's kind of a number of people when you have to make a cut at 20, having 21 sliders.
Yeah. Across the line, 59.98. So 9/10 slower than Jane Channel we've just seen. I mean, if you took the clock out, you would see the differences. Not many civilians would be able to see like a second's worth of difference because it's such a tiny amount of time.
Oh yeah, the things I'm looking at are extremely small differences, inches different between the fast lines and the not fast lines, and that's what makes this track so hard. And being able to just kind of let the sled go and chill. You can see she's fighting it a little bit there. Definitely a little bit uncomfortable. Yeah. But overall, some solid lines.
The whole body language in 11, just looking to steer it away from the roof. So Mima Reniva, Kimberly Boss, Tina Herman, the top three. And we have 5 to go, 6 to go. Next up for Canada, Jacqueline LeBurge, 38-year-old in her 5th World Cup, back where she made her World Cup debut back in January 2021. Previously raced here as well in the Intercontinental Cup, the 2nd tier of sliding. But nice little bit of synchronicity where she made her first ever World Cup start. She makes her first in Europe this year. 5.72 getaway for Jacqueline LeBurge.
A good handling of 0 to 1. Little bit late into corner 1, but she's handling it all right. For her being a little bit back on the start, it's all going to be about settling and letting the sled go. Trying to get all the speed you can out of this flat section.
Well, what she'll be looking for is a personal best. On her debut here, she was 21st. She's in a field of 21. She does not want to be 21st today. 16th best speed, that's looking good. She is in, well, 16th place out of 16 sleds, but those that are to come may not necessarily be that much quicker.
Yeah, her lines are looking pretty clean down here. Maybe a little bit of overdriving, but her speed is right up there. But sometimes clean lines aren't always the fastest. Sometimes you can't overdrive everything, but that's where Winterberg is one of the toughest tracks in the world to win at.
Yeah. Okay, 60.18 slide for Jacqueline LeBurge. So Canadians bookending the field at the moment with Mima Reniva in 1st place. And Jacqueline in 16th at the moment. And you've been in this position before, Austin, where you have had your run and you're looking at the remainder of the field to see whether you are going to get a second heat, right? And
yeah, I've been there before, yeah.
That's a pretty
not
grim,
a fun area to be.
No, it's a pretty grim time. Yeah.
Hi, Liz. Hi, Luna.
So definitely one of the least favorite parts of the sport is being on the bubble.
Well, from Jacqueline LeBurge to Chao Dan of China. Chao just 20 years of age, so she'll be staying here for the Junior Worlds, we think. Raced here in January and 2020 and in the World Cup in January 2022, so she raced in the Junior Worlds in 2020 as well. So that might come full circle, and Junior Worlds next week on the same track.
Solid push from Dan, right in the mix, and handled corner 0 all right, but definitely fighting the sled up there, which is the last thing you want to do right before that uphill section.
Only one previous World Cup on the track, and then she finished in 20th place.
A lot of height on the end of 4, sorry. But handles it all right, and definitely you can see she's fighting the sled. She's not letting it go as much, but lines look solid, so big, hard toe steer off the end of Kreisel. Don't see that a lot. Don't see that a lot on this track. On a track you want to try to do as little as possible.
Still pretty young, just 20 years of age, and still relatively inexperienced, but her development coach Mark Wood thought that she probably had the best potential out of all the Chinese sliders. 14th, 15th at the line, 14th it is. So between Anna Fernstedt and Kendall Westenberg. So, little entertaining battle coming up between her and Kendall, separated by 100th of a second, the smallest measurable margin that we deal with.
Yeah, as of right now, top 15 are within under 1 second. There are some tight battles that are going to be in their second run, including Dan and Kendall are right in there, as well as a couple in front of them are only a few hundredths apart. So we're going to see a lot of jumping around for second run.
And we talk about, second as it's being almost a lifetime. If you're a second off, that's forever. It's 1,500 meters of ice. It's 1 second. That's it. Over a mile of ice.
It's a lot and a little at the same time.
I know. Yeah. It's so tight, isn't it? So then, making her first World Cup start of the season is Italy's Alessia Crippa, raced here in December last year to 19th. She was here in November this year in the Intercontinental Cup as well, so she's got relatively recent experience of the track.
Starting in the right groove, first person you've seen, at least in the women's race, to do that. Can't speak for the men's race because I was in it, but seems to handle it all right. Fought it a little bit with a slight skid, but interesting approach to corner zero. You never know what can work.
It may just be that that's the way she feels most naturally relaxed doing it, and she did it all the way through training, so why would you change? But yeah, she may have tried something completely different.
Yeah, sometimes you want to just stick with what's comfortable. Sometimes that trumps what is potentially working a slightly better, especially if they're giving you similar entries into corner zero.
One of the smaller athletes in the field, 18th best speed. She is hovering around with Agathe Bessard and Jackie LeBurge. 16th on the splits at the moment, still 18th best speed.
Big waves, look out for a victory roll.
Whoa!
There you go. Almost. Just saved it.
So half roll and full scorpion. 60.01, so she is 1700ths ahead of Jacqueline LeBurge.
Time for our first round, 1 minute and 100 half a second.
Yeah, she's in the second run at the moment. Jackie is on the bubble right now with 3 sleds to go.
3 sleds to go, 2 of whom are very experienced, and 1 of whom is absolutely brand new.
Can't say the ice isn't slowing down, but it's definitely not getting any faster. So
yeah,
these girls at the end are really going to all be fighting to keep in that second run.
Well, there's that big drop between the 2 high pressures. She spiked up and down both times there in the Kreisel.
Big drop off the end of, I think that's 13, going into 14. Yeah. And then she gets pushed away going into 14, which caused those real big waves in that victory roll.
Yeah. That's right. Hanging onto the sled and only just. Well, next up for Great Britain, Freya Tarbit, 22-year-old from Derby, former long jumper. Watched the sport on TV and applied to the Team GB camp, but was told at 15 she was too young and to go away. As a 16th birthday present, her dad got her into the program, and she remains here. 5:37, that's a good getaway.
Yeah, solid competitive push, 4th best velocity going into corner 2. Bit back already, not the most ideal lines, but she's handling it well. And for a World Cup rookie, looks like she's handling her nerves all right.
Yeah.
See how she can keep it going all the way down the track.
One of only 5 tracks she's been on in races, and she's only raced here, like her teammate Tabitha, in Europa Cup in November. So 1 race weekend, and she is in a top 6, top 7 run at the moment.
Good speed right now.
And so the speed is still there to be found in the track if you just let it flow.
Yeah, her mistakes were pretty minute, but you can see that she's relaxed and letting the sled go.
All right, is this going to be a top 10 run? It is 11th place, 200s out of the top 10. That is a great first. It doesn't matter what she does in the second heat. Really doesn't matter.
Yeah,
but Freya Tarbit, what a great first run in the World Cup.
Yeah, she should be very happy with that. Race isn't over, though. Yeah. Plenty of room to move up.
Well, there you go. And she and Tabby came in together, and they've sort of, come up through the program together, and both so excited to be here just to see it all.
Yeah, your first World Cup is always a very fun experience. My first World Cup was on this track as well, and it's always
Lights,
always-
cameras, you know,
Yeah.
all the names that you've watched on TV and all of that.
All the cameras definitely get a little bit of nerves going for first run.
Well, that won't be the case for Janine Flock, making her first World Cup start of the season, her 98th World Cup start, recovering from back surgery over the summer. She's now had her L1, L2 and L3 discs sorted out. So she's about 75% healthy.
Yeah, so we'll see how she pushes this year so far. Pretty solid.
Yeah.
Given where Janine generally pushes, that's right up there with what she normally does. And if there's someone who knows how to drive, it is Janine, one of the best pilots in this field.
Well, the athlete who was in front of her, Freya Tarbit, in her first ever World Cup race on this track. Janine in her 14th World Cup race on this track alone. Half
Yeah.
the field hasn't done 14 World Cups.
Yeah, Janine is one of those sliders that's been around, and she is one of the best in the world. And she has shown it time and time again. Pulling back
go.
the 6th best speed already. So.
Yeah. From 11th at the start, up to 8th on the splits, up
Third
to
best
7th.
speed.
Here we go.
Track's still got a little bit of life left in it, it looks like.
Yeah, if you know how to get down here, you know how to get down here. This
Great
might
looking run.
end up being a top 3 run for Janine Flock. Only 8th best speed at the bottom. She's not going to get there. Where is she? 4th at the line, 6th at the
Sideways
line.
over the line, too.
Yeah.
Not what you want to do. She's trying to keep it away from rolling, but lost a hair bit of time down there, but she's right in it. Got
Okay,
room to move up.
let's put Freya Tarbit, the rookie, into perspective. 2/10 slower in her first World Cup run than Janine Flock.
Well, let's put this into perspective. 6th to 12th place is 2/10 apart.
Yes, yeah.
5th to 12th.
It's going to be a heck of a second heat.
Oh, yeah. As Winterberg always does.
Janine was chatting to her yesterday, and she was saying, you know, 2 runs, she's okay. By the 3rd run, the back's really starting to kill. So she's having to be very, very cautious about how much she does. But
As with most of us, taking
Yeah.
3 runs a day is usually pretty tough.
the smile is back. 3 minutes work, come on. It's not even, it's 3:50 seconds.
Oh, it's way more tiring than you think.
Yeah, I know. And finally, well, now then, Kim Marmons, here's another story. She did come to North America, but then was injured in training in Whistler and had to come straight back home. She can barely walk. Honestly, she is limping like her grandmother's. And so for Kim, this is just get on the sled and get some miles and get some points.
Yeah, Kim had a pretty scary crash in preseason training this year in Whistler. Kind of one of those things that just can be, it can just catch you off guard, and she hurt her foot pretty bad, but to see her back is awesome, especially from an injury of that magnitude.
Well, again, barely able to walk, 16th best push. So hello everybody else who was slower than 16th. And right now, in the race, 14th best speed at the Kreisel.
Yeah, Kim knows how to drive this track too. You grew up on the German program, has since been sliding for Belgium. But, big hit. That is not what you want to do right there. But she's already made a decent chunk of speed going into it.
Yeah.
So she shouldn't lose too much.
But she's in the race at the moment. It is her or Jacqueline LaBerge of Canada. I have a feeling that this is going to be just enough for Kim Marmons. It is just enough. She is in, and Jacqueline LaBerge does not get a second run. There's her coach, Anna Mirambel. And now the IBSF member for VP for Sport as well.
Yeah, Kim definitely having a little trouble braking. Not the most fun thing when you have an injured foot.
Yeah.
Braking is the
Now,
last thing you want to do.
Again, watch her walk down. That is not something she's done on the run. I was watching her yesterday and the day before, and she can barely walk.
She's doing pretty good, though, for where she was and what she did. But
Absolutely.
that one tap, that cost her a decent chunk of time, but she's looking forward to World Champs. She's here, she's racing, she's having a good time. World Champs is her goal.
And the reason she's here is you need 3 races to get qualified for the World Champs, and that's here and the 2 Altenbergs. So having missed out on North America, she has to do them. Our first heat leader is Mimi Reneva of Canada from Kimberly Voss, a double gold medalist here last season, and Tina Herman, another woman who has won 2 gold medals on this track. So Mimi yet to win here.
Top 3 within a 1/10 of a second. and the
gonna
middle
be
of the
close.
field are stacked in there with a few tenths away. So we will see some great racing for the second run.
Yeah. So from Valentina Margalio in 5th down to 11th place, Nicole Silveira, 0.2 of a second. You can give that away before corner 4. It's going to be very, very close indeed. Our second heat gets underway at 5:15 local, and they will go in reverse order of their first heat performance at 5 o'clock, I beg your pardon. So our two rookies, Freya Tarbit and Tabby Stocker, both go through. But Jacqueline Leberge just misses the cut. So it will be Alessia Cripper who heads off at 5 in our second and deciding heat. That's it for the moment. Join us again in 40 minutes with all the action here in Winterberg.
Ich bleibe bei meiner Prognose, Tina Herrmann wird das gewinnen, vor Riva und Kimberley-Bo. Und Kimberley-Bo, das ist ganz klar, für Niederländer ist Winterberg immer die Heimat. Und das ist auch gut so. Ich schon auch tatsächlich, das ist diese Beständigkeit, finde ich ja letztlich fantastisch. War letztes Jahr hier Erste, hat Bronze bei Olympia geholt, jetzt wieder um die Medaille mit. Das ist schon